Let us now discuss about subsetting the data using a filter condition. Let's say we have this data set called bank underscore data. We have imported all the data sets, by the way. In one shot, we have imported all the data sets. If you haven't imported them, then you may have to use this code. You have to execute that. Then you will have this code. Bank data is the one that we are working with. In this data set, there are several columns. Let us suppose if I'm interested in only those customers whose age is greater than 40. If I want to make a subset out of this bank data, and I want to consider only those customers whose age is greater than 40, how do I do that? Here is the syntax. You write the data frame name, which is bank underscore data. By the way, what is a data frame? The data frame is nothing but a data set or data table that we call outside. And then you write the condition age greater than 40. By the way, if you simply write age greater than 40, that's not going to work. Here, you have to once again write the data frame name. Like in this particular place, you have to write the filter condition. And what is the filter condition? Let's write the filter condition outside. My filter condition is, my filter condition is, what is it? Bank data. Within that, there's a column called age, and that age is greater than 40. Now, if I put the filter condition here, now that will be my bank subset. Let me name that as bank subset. This is my bank subset. If you really want to print the data and check what does that look like, and this is how it will work. Now, where you see age is absolutely greater than 40 for sure for all of them. Even if you put age is greater than 60, then you will get all the customers whose age is greater than 60. Let's make age greater than 80. Do we have any records? Yes, these are all the customers whose age is greater than 80. There are roughly 99 rows and 18 columns in this bank subset. You don't really need to create this outside, but it looks a little clean, the code. If you want to achieve the same output without defining the filter condition outside, what you can do is simply you bring that up and you keep it here in the place of filter condition. That should do 99 rows. The result, the output is same. Okay. So either you can define the filter condition outside or you can define it here. Let us suppose if I want to give two conditions. I want to take all the customers whose age is greater than 80 and they must not have taken any loan. The loan value has to be no. Okay, if that is the case, then what is the syntax like? So how do you write it? Again, you write the similar syntax. Let me call that as bank subset 1, bank subset 1. So this is the first condition. You have to put that condition in the parenthesis and then and for and you have to put 1 ampersand. 1 ampersand is sufficient. In some programming languages or in some other programming languages, you may have to put double ampersand, but single ampersand is sufficient. And what's my second condition? My loan should be no. Since you are comparing, you have to write 2 times equal to no. That is the data set. How many records are there in this data set? Again, 99 rows are there. So let's do one thing. Let's take a different condition. Instead of saying loan is no, let's take education is primary or marital status, or let's say, yeah, let's take education and then education status is primary education. That is what I want to take. How many records are there with that condition? These many records are there. Education is primary. And if you want to know how many rows, how many columns are there, simply do data frame dot shape. With this condition, there are roughly, how many are there? Roughly 59 rows are there. What if you have to put a or condition? What do you mean by or condition? Either first condition is true, that means either age is greater than 80, or either this or education is primary. One of those two conditions, if that is sufficient, either age should be greater than 80 or the customer should have education, primary education. If that is the case, how many records are there? Obviously, it will be higher. 6,891 records are there. You can give and condition, you can give or condition, you can give multiple conditions also here. You just need to put all these parentheses carefully. That's how you do the subsetting. Okay. Or you can also use in condition here as well. Let's say if you have 2, 3 values where out of them, if you want to take, then you can use in condition. That brings us to the next lab exercise. These are all pretty simple lab exercise. You must be able to do it. So get this automobile data set, auto data set. Definitely we must be having that data set in our list. If you go here to our data sets list, let me do one thing. Let us name this as data. Okay. Let me put that as one of the heading, major heading. And then if I go here directly, if I go to data, then directly I can access it. And then do we have the auto data set? If we don't have it, I'll make sure that I'll give you that location. Okay. So auto data set is what we want to. Here is the auto data set. I want you to take this auto data set and do one by one all these tasks. Get this automobile data set, auto data set, and then create a new data set for exclusively Toyota cars. Okay. Write a condition where make is Toyota. First of all, find out which variable constitute to this, and then create a new data set for all the cars with city MPG mileage is greater than 30 and engine size is less than 120. Create a new data set by taking only sedan cars. Keep only variables make, body style, fuel type, price. Only keep 4 variables. Don't keep all the variables. So try to understand each and every question. Not all questions you'll be able to answer by looking at the code that we have discussed. Some of this code you may have to do a little bit of research, especially for the last question. You may have to do a little bit of research outside, but you should be able to get it. So the small hint here is you may have to use in operator when you are working on this problem. So complete this lab exercise before moving on to the next point of discussion. If you look at the actual bank data and have a look at the index 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on, this is the index. And if you look at the subset of the bank data, let's say bank subset 1 or bank subset 2, any of the subsets that we have created, have a look at their index. Bank subset 1 I'm talking about, and the index looks like this, 29,000, 31,000. And bank subset 2, the index looks like this. The index doesn't reset. Let's say this is bank data, and this is bank subset 2. The index doesn't reset itself. The index still stays. The resetting of the index need to be done by us. We have to do it manually. Otherwise, the index that was there in the original data, it really stays here. That's how Python operates. That's how Pandas keeps the data frames. If you really want to reset the index, because we have seen an example where if you are using LOC location instead of index location, you are getting some errors. If you really want to focus on the index part, even by using LOC also, location also, if you want to work with it, if you want to reset the index into 0, starting from 0 once again, because this is not the last row. There are only 6,891 rows, but the index is 45,207. The index is given from the original data. If you want to totally reset this index, what you need to do is you write the data frame name and you simply write. So I want to overwrite my data where I want to use reset index. Reset index. Now that's a method. It needs to be kept like this, reset index. Now, if you try to print bank subset 2, the index is reset 0, 1, 2, 3. The previous index was starting from 8, ending at 45,000. Now it is starting at 0, ending at 6890. That's how you reset the index. However, what you will observe is there will be a new column that's called index that got created. Previously, there is no such column as index. Earlier, there is a column called customer number, but now there is an extra column called index. I don't want that extra column. I just want to reset the index. I don't want any extra column. If that is the case, what you need to do is you have to do this way. Let's say if you are updating bank subset 1 with that index, okay, and then you say that drop is equal to true. Drop is equal to true. While resetting it, let me try it with 2 itself, bank subset 2, update it with bank subset 2. Drop equal to true, what does it do? It actually removes this particular column, which is extra. We don't want it. Now you will have the perfect data set with you where you have the index also reset, and then there is no column called index. Looks like there is extra column called index. I think the first one got dropped when since we have done it once again. That's the reason. Let us do this freshly once again. Let us do one thing. Let us create bank subset 2. Here is bank subset 2. Now this is the bank subset 2. At this point of time, bank subset 2 look like this. Where is it? Bank subset 2 with the index, which is from the original data. Now what I'll do is I'll directly execute this one. I want to update bank subset 2 along with reset index where it is drop is equal to true. What it will do is it will not have any extra column called index, and then my index is also correct 6980. Previously, why there was an extra column of index? Because I have done the resetting of index twice. That's why it happened. Okay. Sometimes you may have to work with the index. In those scenarios, you can use this option of reset index. Not in every situation you will be using with every command that we discussed here. In some situations, you may not need any of the commands that we discussed here. You may be requiring only handful of commands, but it's good to know all of them so that you can use them wherever there is a necessity. Now let us see how do you rename the columns. Let's say if you go to sales data and print all the columns, what are all the columns that are there in the sales data? Customer ID, customer name, customer country, etc. For example, I want to rename this particular column date sold as date sold new, or I want to give a space in between. I don't like this date sold. I want to rename that as sale date. Okay, something like that. So how do you rename? You have to use a function called the rename. Okay, so sales dot rename, and then what are the columns? Columns is equal to, you have to write it like this. Columns is a dictionary. So you write the previous column name and colon the original new column name that you want to give. You write the previous column name, which is date sold. That's the previous column name. And what's the new name that you want to give? I want to say, let's say date sold new. That's the new column name that I want to see in the sales data. And I want to assign that to sales. I want to assign it. So if you do it this way and then try to look at the sales columns, then the new columns will be in the place of date sold, your column name will be date sold new. You can do it even for 2 columns if you would like to. So how do you do that? Let's say product sold is the original column. I simply want to say that is just product, not product sold. Simple product. And the other column that I want to change again, write the old column name, write the colon, new column name. Sales channel or customer country, I simply want to put it as, or customer name, I want to rename it as simply name. Name, that's it. Okay. If that is the case, how do I do it? You simply rename and then just execute this. The new columns are in the place of customer name, you will have name. In the place of product sold, you will have product. And already we have renamed date sold. That's how you can use rename option. If you want to create any new columns, let's say using the existing columns, if you want to create the new columns, that is damn easy. For example, if you go to this sales data, in this sales data, you have a column called unit sold. And I want to multiply that with 2 and create a new column. Okay. Then how do I do it? Or there is one more column. Or from date sold, if I want to extract only year, and store it in a new column. Or from the product, I want to take only first four letters. I want to keep it in another column. How do I do it? So here is the syntax. Let's start with the first one. Let's say in the sales data, I want to create new units. Okay. What I want to do is I want to take the units sold. Okay. And multiply that with 60%. That's what I want to do. Multiply that with 60%. Units sold. Simple. You just multiply that with 0.6 star 0.6. Now, if you try to see sales data, you will have an extra column called new units, where you have in this extra column, you will have, what do you have in this extra column, new units, this into 60% of it. Okay. Or if you want to take first four letters from this product, then you may have to write a small substring function kind of thing. Let's say product product code new is what I want to create. Product underscore code underscore new. That's what I want to create. And from product, so I'll write product. From product, I'm not interested in all the values inside the product. I'm interested in first four characters. Okay. From the product. So I will write it 0 to 4. If I write it that way, is that going to work? Let us check. Well, this works, but it doesn't give the answer that we are looking for. Because if I try to print only product and product code new from this data, then you will understand what we are actually looking for. It's a list of two columns. And then we have to do another bracket for accessing. If you write like this, what I'm looking for is not exactly this one. I'm looking for only super, data, super, this one, isn't it? But for me, everything is coming automatically, the complete value. And even for Nance also, data, pura, this something like this is coming. This is not exactly what we are looking for. I want the first four characters, SUPA, in the place of super. So for that, what you need to do is you need to use a function str. str is a very useful function for handling all the strings. There are two, three ways of doing it. Okay. You can use str function and simply write str followed by that. Okay. Or you can use a str dot slice, or simply you write str 0 to 4. This will give you what exactly you're looking for. Okay. So product code new is a super, delta, or data, depending on whatever it is. Okay. Super, data, and all that. Okay. Or we have to put it in the right order. First one is product followed by product code new. This is exactly what we want, isn't it? You can use str.slice also. That will also have the same effect as this one. str.slice, and slice is a function that takes the starting character and ending character. Either you can use it this way, or you can use directly the indices as well. This will also work. str.slice function and 0, comma 4. What is the starting? What is the ending? Okay. This is the new code that you have. Instead of slice, you can use the previous function also. And there is another way to do this as well. You can use something called apply function as well if you are working with a particular row and if you want to apply it. But here, directly using str also, we can achieve this. Okay. Or if you're directly writing like this, since the starting character itself is 0, you can put from anywhere to 4. That is also fine. That will also work. str from anywhere, like from the beginning to 4. That is also going to give you that. Okay. So basically here the focus is on creating a new column. How do you create a new column? By using this str. The same thing, let's say here in the date sold new, we have 2012. The year is in the beginning. If you want to extract just the year, then what is the syntax like? So first of all, take date sold new as the input. And what I want to say is the new column name is just year. So what I will take to print is along with date sold new, whatever is extracted, whatever we extracting, we are extracting year. First four characters indicate the year, and this is the output. This is the input, this is the output, and this is how you create a new column in Python. Got it?